How I'd make 10K starting from scratch wholesaling today. Guys, it's Rick Ginn, and in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly what I do if you had to just drop me somewhere and start from scratch wholesaling. Then I'm going to share the tips and tricks that keeps you in the wholesaling zone for ultimate long-term success. But before I do it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video with others that want to find the truth out about wholesaling. So what would I do starting wholesaling all over to get that first 10K? And the first thing you need to do is get a great education. So this part, we got it completely nailed for you. We've got over 30 years experience between myself and Zach at freewholesaling.com. Yes, I know the word free is scary, but it's the truth. There is no credit cards. There's no gimmicks. You just go in there and you get the truth on how successful wholesalers get started in wholesaling. And not only will it help you get to your first deal and get you past that roadblock, but the idea is to get you to your first $100,000 so you can break free with wholesaling. Now, when you go in that course, you're going to notice, number one, but for the first time, someone's not slamming me with a credit card. You're welcome, because I was tired of all that crap in wholesaling. And number two, our emphasis on the beginning is marketing. So what I need you to understand, the key concept, especially starting from scratch, most of your effort is going to be on the marketing side of wholesaling. Guys, without marketing, it's like having no blood in your veins and you're going to cease to exist. Marketing, marketing, marketing. It is the number one thing you have to master. All great wholesalers are master marketers. Do not skip this step. And we spend a lot of time at freewholesaling.com. So make sure you deep dive into that and not only consume the content, but actually take action and move forward. Remember, this is not like school. You're going to have to go out there. You're going to have to do stuff, and some of it's not going to work. And the idea is you learn from the experience. Go to freewholesaling.com. We got you covered there. Next thing I need you to understand is you have two types of plans when starting out wholesaling. So if you're starting from scratch or you're starting over, I don't care what your experience is. In the beginning, listen, in the short term, you're just going to have to outwork all your competition. That is the key. If you go at the same stagnant pace that all beginner wholesalers go at, you're doomed for the same fate. So have the mentality that you are going to outwork in the short term, meaning you're going to dedicate 6 or 7 days a week and with an emphasis on marketing, and you are going to out hustle. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It's whoever will commit the most to marketing and mastering it. Those people are off to a great start. That's your short-term start in wholesaling. But you're also going to have to plan for the long-term success. Don't do a deal just to have a victory only to break even or lose money. Think long-term. Remember, the difference between a great wholesaler and one that quits is the difference between a sprinter and a marathon. Remember, a sprinter looks good. Anybody can look good for a 1 mile section, but a marathon, 26.2 miles, you're going to have to think long-term. So our teachings are based on short-term hustle and long-term focus for success. You're going to have to blend them together. If you only look at short-term, meaning you're only going to look at influencers on the internet, you're going to get fooled. You have to have a long-term approach to wholesaling. You have to get better each day. So don't forget that. So the next thing you have to understand, especially, especially at the starter level, is you've got to attack the right type of sellers. If you don't laser focus on this, you're going to waste your time, you're going to burn out, and you're probably going to quit. How do I know this? Because I've been through this quite a few times, and I've trained thousands of people, and it's always the same thing. Focus on who your target market is. Remember, the best wholesale deals come from motivated sellers. What's a motivated seller? Someone that needs to sell their house. They have a financial problem, maybe pre-foreclosure, maybe it's a probate, maybe somebody passed away, maybe they're behind on their taxes. Do you see the difference? They need to sell. When I say need, it means they usually have to sell their house in the next 30 or 60 days, or there's a consequence. So it's kind of like the pawn shop of real estate. Those are the ones we're looking for. Here's the problem is if you focus on people who want to sell, which, let's face it, anybody who puts a house on the market fits in this category. So 100% of the people that want to sell their house, that's a broad market. The problem is you only should focus on the people that need to sell their house. Why? People who want to sell their house reach out to realtors. They usually want above asking price, and they have no motivation to cut a deal with a wholesaler. So simply understand this rule and honor it. And I promise you, it will put you on the track to getting your first 10K deal with your eyes shut. Keep in mind, to get to 10K a month, you really only need one deal. So don't waste time on people who want to sell their house, because it's going to keep you busy and busy. Find people that need to sell their house, the highest motivated sellers. How do I do that? Let's just run through the crash course of marketing right now. But remember, you can get this in grave detail at freewholesaling.com. So now that you know the difference between want and need to sell their house, where do I go to find the people that need to sell their house? The easiest place to start is going to be with Government List. What's a Government List? Pre-foreclosures, probates, evictions, tax delinquencies, water shutoffs, fire damage. The list goes on and on. Go to freewholesaling.com to get more details on it. Why do you need to focus on these lists? Because these predominantly have people that need to sell their house, and the lists are free. Now, don't let that fool you. You're going to have to earn these lists. They are not the easiest to get, and you're going to overcome resistance with persistence. Stay in it. If you ask for 7 or 9 lists and you get 3, you are well on your way of making progress to get your first wholesale deal. One of the next easiest way to get that first 10K quickly is use social media. Now, I'm not telling you to go and browse and post on social media. Use it for a lead source. What do you mean, Rick? One of the easiest ways is you go to Facebook Marketplace. You can go over to Zillow. That's not technically social media. And you can find quantities of people. You need to find the ones that need to sell their house because they want to sell their house are just going to waste your time. You can go over to Facebook Marketplace. Once again, look for motivating signs. What are motivating signs? Anything on like Zillow or Facebook Marketplace. I looked at their aged at least 3 months, ideally 6 months, and have multiple price cuts. That usually indicates there's a problem with the property and they're going to need some sort of wholesaler to solve it. Because remember, realtors solve pretty house problems for full price. Wholesalers solve problems that nobody else can solve. Those are the types of deals you need to find. Don't forget ZachDiscord.com. It is a great place. Thousands of deals are done on there on a monthly basis. And I've seen people doing 5, 6, 7 deals on there. That is the power of working together with other people in other markets. Maybe you have the marketing skill set, they have the boots on the ground. It is powerful. It works with speed and there's a lot of clarity. Check out ZachDiscord.com. Hey guys, don't forget about digital bandit signs. You can do those over social media. It's the art of posting a bandit sign digitally. If you want to learn more about that, go to freewholesaling.com. We get tons of deals doing it that way, and it's effective. It is going to cost you time, but you're going to have to put in that hustle muscle effort in the beginning at that first 10K. And guys, please don't overlook the basics. If you're doing this locally, bandit signs still work. I know they're very old school and archaic. Who cares? If you get a lead, they're not that expensive. You just get a white 18 by 24 corrugated sign, get it from the big box stores, find a sign company, get a black Sharpie marker, the big fat one, and write it on it. 3 simple lines: sell your house today, any price, any condition, and your virtual phone number. That's it. Put out 15, 20 and rotate them and find the areas where you get hits. Once you do that, here's the key. Answer your phones. Don't let it go to voicemail. That's old school. It doesn't work. If they have the guts to call you, take them seriously and see if you can help them out. Now, that's every way you can pretty much do it close to free. The other way is get a paid list service, some sort of software. We prefer xleads.com. Not only do we own it, we built it for the wholesaler in mind. Check it out at xleads.com. What can you get there? You can get paid list. You can get up to, depending on what level you have, 10 to 60,000 leads in a month. My recommendation is just start with the basics. You can get as low as $49 a month. Nobody even comes close to the quality of data plus the price you get. A lot of you are overpaying for this service. Check it out, xleads.com. What type of list can you get there? I love to get the vacant house. I love to do typical high equity list. And yes, if you go to freewholesaling.com, we share the filters that you can use on these lists. These lists are helpful because it is better off paying $49 to $100 a month to get data quickly to you as opposed to hiring your first employee. Remember, I'm just trying to get you that first 10K to put money in your bank account so you can get free to make decisions to do what you really want in life. Now, the cool thing with these paid softwares here is you should be able to pull at least 10,000 leads a month. That's the bare minimum all the services do. If you use XLeads, if you use any of the others, it's fine with that. Here's the key, guys, is you need quantity. Quantity is the key to getting started in wholesaling. And if you go, wow, Rick, I pulled 20 or 30 leads, you're not even close. I'm just telling you, this is the biggest deficit of new wholesalers. You need massive quantity. Think about this. You're going from 0, you're trying to get to 100. I got to get you from 0 to 1. That is the hardest part. And then I get to get you to 1 to 2. And then I get you to 2 to 4, and then 4 to 8. We all have to start somewhere. So quantity is key. I've already given you ideas before this topic. in this video, go over to freewholesaling.com. You can't have enough leads when you start out wholesaling. Remember, the quantity is what's going to help you overcome your initial startup in wholesaling. Why? You don't have the experience. A lot of you lack the confidence, and you definitely don't have repetition of training. Outside of freewholesaling.com is the only structured education. The quantity of leads is the exercise action of actually doing. This is what we call the journey of wholesaling. And it doesn't matter if you paid somebody 100 grand or you hired me and Zach for free, which you probably did. We're all going on the same ride. The question is, do you have the mental capacity to get there? Remember, the more leads you have, the more repetition you get. It will also toughen you up. It will create discipline, and that journey is how you actually learn to become a wholesaler. And the first deal is going to be a bit of a work. Some people get lucky, but most people have to work, and we need to toughen you up. There's no other way around it. You have to have the quantity. Whatever you're thinking, do 10x. I'm telling you. You should be trying to crunch 10,000 leads in a month. I know a lot of you are doing it by yourself. You're like, Rick, how am I going to attack it? I don't care. Just get it done. So here's a mentality. If you want to earn 10K, get your first wholesaling deal, you have to commit. Well, Rick, what do you mean by committing? You're going to have quantity. Can you get through 10,000 leads to get that 10K? Because it could take that. I'm not telling you. You might get it in the first deal. It might be the 10,000 deal. Your mental capacity says, if I have to go through 10,000 conversations to make my first 10 grand, I'm going to do it. Here's the good news. Do it once. The second one's so much easier, and so on and so on. Which leads me to the next topic, which by doing this mass amount of quantity, you are preconditioning yourself to conquer any battle. It means you can climb any mountain. If you're willing to go through 10,000 leads, you will make it in wholesaling. If you can't muster it up and you can't say, I'll tackle 10,000 leads, I don't know. Is wholesaling really a right fit for you? And so what happens is we create a process. And if you focus on marketing, we're going to force discipline you. That's right. Because discipline is not something you earn overnight. It's something you have to do by repetition. By making your marketing calls every day. I don't care if you're cold calling, if you're reverse driving for dollars, whatever you're doing, you have to consistently take the same effort every day. It should become redundant and boring. If you committed to 7 days a week, do it. If you're cold calling 4 hours a day, get it done. That's going to lead to consistency. And consistency is only created by discipline. It's going to take 30 days to even get your brain wired to do this process. The sooner you start this, the better off you're going to do. So that's the process to get out and get the marketing started to get your first 10K. You only need one deal. We're going to do a ton of quantity. But now let's talk about the simple mindset you need to survive to get to your first deal in wholesaling. Let's go through some basic rules. Number one, you'll always win if you don't quit. Just don't quit. The only difference between me and a lot of other wholesalers is I didn't quit. Did I think about quitting? Yes. Did I mentally quit? Probably 100 times. But I always woke up the next day, no matter what happened, and I just put in the effort, mostly in marketing, especially in my first 2 years. If you're willing to give up 2 years of your life to wholesaling, you can do anything. You're going to have to make a sacrifice to get out of your complacent average life. And although it kind of sucks to think about it, it should be more painful to stay in your current situation than to go through the 2-year journey of wholesaling. I got excited about it because I sat in a 12-year rut working for a corporation. And remember, you will always win if you don't quit. Number two, stop comparing yourself to everybody else. One of the biggest problems, you guys compare to yourself to everyone on the internet. You're not Zach, you're not Rick. And I'm gonna say, I can't speak outside of me, but a lot of people try to use their ego to lure you in. I'm doing 40. I'm doing 45 deals. I'm doing 50. It's like, how big are we gonna go? You have no idea their processes, their cost. You don't see their balance sheet. To be honest with you, it's just noise. Don't listen to it. Listen, whoever you're gonna use to help you out with real estate, make sure they have walked the walk. Most likely, make sure someone's been on at least a 10-year journey. It's like, that's what it takes to really experience stuff. Now, it's easy to try to compare yourself with all these people online. Just stop. I used to do it a long time ago. Outside of my parameters, I don't watch other people's videos. There's a reason why. Because I operate completely different, and I've been doing this over 20 years. Most people I see in wholesaling, they're just sprinters. 80 to 90% of them just fade away after 3 to 5 years. You all saw it. 21, 22, almost all the people that taught you from 2014 to 2009, they're gone. Why? Sprinters. So heed the warning. If you don't want to be a sprinter, think long-term in wholesaling and make great decisions and discipline yourself for success. How do you do that? You just got to lose your ego. Most people online are bragging. It's just their ego and a combination of a course to sell you. And you cannot learn, you cannot engage others when your ego is activated. It means you got to be right, you're self-minded, and you are not open to learning. Lose your ego is the fastest way to get taken out of in wholesaling. So that leaves the question, who do I compare myself if I'm not supposed to compare myself to Rick, Zach, or any other people on the internet? Compare yourself to you yesterday. That's it. You've got to set a standard and you got to keep raising it. Most of you want to go from here to there overnight. This is what most of the courses try to sell you. The reality is it's going to be a zigzag line all the way to the top. So how do I do that? Wake up the next day and make yourself 1% better than the day you were before. You're going to have slip-ups. It's okay. As long as you're making progress, that's all I care. Sprinters try to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour. A marathon runner, all they try to do is fix their personal best time by 1 second a day. That's all I want you to do. Think about this. If I were to sell a marathon runner a book or a digital course saying, I can cut your run time down by 80%, they don't buy it because they know it doesn't work. So you guys have had enough education online to understand there is no shortcut in wholesaling. You're going to have to put in the hard work. So you might as well commit to it and stop fooling yourself. Which leads me to the last section, accountability. The hardest thing in wholesaling is for you to tell the truth to yourself. Stop worrying about everyone else. Stop trying to impress anyone else. Those are pure sprinters, and there's usually an agenda hidden behind it. If something you're not doing in wholesaling is not working, like if you've gone through 10,000 leads and you haven't got one deal, you're either targeting the wrong people. Maybe people who want to sell their house for need. Maybe you're just not telling yourself the truth. Remember, if you can't tell yourself the truth, how are you going to fix a problem? The number one thing you have to do is recognize when you have a problem, address it, meaning acknowledge it, and then take corrective action. And a lot of times the corrective action is just a little bit. You can't go extreme every time. That's how you get better. If you can't recognize your own problem, it's a 0 probability of fixing it. So once you start telling yourself the truth, sometimes it's painful, it hurts, I get it, but that's how people truly progress in life, and especially in wholesaling business. If you say everything's fine and dandy and but you're getting no deals, there's something breaking down. And if you're going to use your ego to make yourself feel better for the short term, I can't help you. Zach can't help you. Honestly, probably nobody can help you. You have to open up the dialogue with yourself and be brutally honest. And if it's not working, you have to make course corrections to take the action, or most likely you're going to have to take a lot more action. Whichever it is on you, nobody else. The government's not coming to save you. The gurus aren't coming to save you. They're coming for your pocketbook. And honestly, me and Zach can't do the work for you. So if you're not going to do the work, I promise you, nothing you do in wholesaling is going to work. You have to commit. Most course sales, they try to skip the work. There's a few good ones that put it out there. You have to put in the work no matter what, because at the end of the day, everything is on you. And if you accept that and you acknowledge it, it's much easier to deal with wholesaling, because if you don't, you start to blame others, you blame people's software, you blame people's courses. At the end of the day, it's on you. I've bought a lot of courses, a lot of failed courses. I've taken a lot of bad advice from gurus, but I have found the few that helped me get through it, that told me the truth. The ones that could tell me the truth told me, Rick, you need to tell yourself the truth to acknowledge the problem, to rectify the situation, to become an incredible wholesaler. Remember, always focus on the long term. But right now, we have to do that short-term push. Go to freewholesaling.com, get it started. Guys, let me know if you got value from this video. Are you going to get to your first 10K? It's only one deal. Are you willing to commit to this process? I believe in you. Zach believes in you. I need you to believe in yourself. You've got this. Guys, if you got value from this video, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments, are you going to get to your first 10K? This is Rick Ginn. I'll see you in the next video.